Kizu writes, how does screenwriting work? Does a studio hire a screenwriter and say, go create a story and script? Or do they have a separate writer create a story and the screenwriter write the script? Or does the studio provide a guideline of what they want and the screenwriter goes off of that? I know it's more of a case-by-case thing, like Nolan can go write his own thing and the studio will be more than happy to give him the money to make it, but when it comes to a movie that the studio thinks of doing, where do they go from there?
There's a couple of different ways that this can play out, and I'm going to really more or less have Schnepp and Osamir's comment on this, but it can go one of several ways. Number one, a studio can have a property and they decide they want to make a certain film, and they go and they hire a writer to start developing the script. Another way, just a screenwriter writes a spec script about something, writes a story, he has a literary agent, that literary agent meets on a regular basis with some of the reps from the different studios and pitches the idea to the studio, and sometimes the studios say, yes, we want that one, and they'll pick it up and go. Sometimes a producer, not necessarily affiliated with any studio, will just have this idea for a movie they want to do. Maybe they bought the rights to somebody's life story, they have their own original idea. Then that producer goes out and hires a screenwriter and says, write a script about this story. They write the script, then the producer takes it, starts pitching it around, trying to get funding and go to the studios. It can happen 100 different ways. For a script and a writer to finally make something and then go to the big screen. But the main thing I got to tell everybody is, if you're an aspiring screenwriter, don't think you're going to write a screenplay and you're going to. I had somebody this weekend just desperately trying to tweet me, I've got this idea for a WWE film, and sending it to me. Like, what do you think I'm going to do with this? No studio ever takes unsolicited. By that I mean when a studio doesn't ask you for it. No studio accepts unsolicited scripts. Don't ever think you're just going to write a script and send it to somebody and they're going to go, Eureka, we're going to make this into a movie. That doesn't happen. You got to get a literary agent. The studios will only talk to literary agents, so get yourself a literary agent if that's the case. Anyway, Schnepp, as a screenwriter yourself, how does this process play out?
Well, it's funny. Just a couple weeks ago, I was at a meeting and was asked with a group of friends of mine to write a story for a property that this one studio owns. So we're writing the story. We're going to try to break a story for a character, and a couple other people I think also have the same character, and they're going to break a story, and if they like our take on it, we'll get story by credit, and then they'll assign a screenwriter. So that's one of the ways, like, we won't actually write the screenplay, but we're just breaking the story for this one character. That's one way it works. What you also mentioned is do not waste your time writing, I wrote this amazing Green Lantern sequel. Yeah. I've got a lot of friends who who are really good writers who constantly use property-based characters to write their thing. And a lot of people, when you write a TV spec script, they give you spec scripts to write. That's something different because you might be trying out to write on a series that's on, so hey, here's my take on that. So you might get brought in as an assistant to help. That's in TV. With films, just write your own original films. I mean, you're wasting your time if you're writing, like, I wrote a brand new Superman script, or even I wrote Green Hornet. Nobody cares, and they won't look at it. Yeah. They legally can't look at it. So that would be my suggestion. Always write original stuff.
Either one of you guys, anything you want to add?
You made a really good point, though. I thought that was a good distinction because a lot of the times there's a lot of different, names on a project and story versus screenplay by. And I think a lot of people don't realize that because the actual, beginning bones of the story and then someone adapts it for the screen. So that's one thing. And I think what you were talking about, yes, literary agent, all of that. There's so many politics involved with this, but the films, like sometimes production companies like Atlas Entertainment, for example, they brought American Hustle first. They found the script, they loved it, they lined up the director, they found Sony to distribute it, they did it that way. So there was a hot script like that. So a lot of the times people are literally, that's their job, to find that hot story from a fresh screenwriter or whoever, and then put all the pieces together after the fact. Or like you were saying, it's like, oh, we want to make a movie about Godzilla. Let's line up like this and find the best pieces. So there's so many different ways the life form can happen. But first step is definitely having the right channels to go through and someone who's a hustler to get you in the right place, basically.
Right. But on the flip side of that, for like anything that's a franchise or for franchise potential, they have guidelines. I mean, that's what with Spider-Man 2. I'm sure when they hired Orsi and Kurtzman, they were like, okay, well, this has to, I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but like, this has to happen. This person can die. This person can't die. This person has to do this. We have to set up the Sinister Six sequel. Blah blah blah. And then you get what happened with Spider-Man 2.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC movie talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.